Paul, I discovered I have gray hair coming in. I found it here. I plucked it out. I have no idea what to do. I'm starting to get gray hair all over.
How many?
It was 2. I saw two huge strands of gray hair.
Count how many gray hairs I've got?
I don't have enough time.
Yeah, exactly. Nor do I.
So I think that there's a good remedy for this gray hair problem.
What's that remedy, Joe?
I need some youth. It's a great joke. Come on. Because this episode is the youth.
Yeah, it's the youth, but that also sounds like a bad dad joke.
It's a bad dad joke.
So we are here talking about the youth, not bad dad jokes, okay? And we're very excited about the upcoming episode. We have 3 young members of our clubs who've been involved in our clubs for the better part of a decade.
That's right.
But not one of them has yet reached 30. In fact, they're all still pretty far off from 30, but they've been in our clubs for about 10 years or up to 10 years. And we're really just excited to talk to them.
Yeah, I want to get that fresh perspective because, 30 is that line you cross and now your perspective is not so fresh.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing I'm not 30 yet.
That's right. You're 22, 23?
I'm 20. I'm 14 going on 50-something.
And so today in this episode of The Story, TGIF
and Born to Shine
Christian Toastmasters, we bring you the youth.
The youth. Welcome to The Story,
TGIF
and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters Clubs.
That's right.
Yes.
And I'm Joe, your host, and we have our co-host, Paul.
I'm Paul, and we are both members of one or both of the clubs. And today we're really excited, Joe, right?
Oh, this is an amazing episode.
I know.
We've got the most guests ever.
The most guests ever, all sitting on the same sofa.
That's right. We've all crammed them. If you're watching the video, you can see 3 Taiwanese people just together. Luckily, you're all really small. You have a little bit of space.
If it was me, I couldn't fit on the sofa with you guys.
No, we couldn't fit 3 Pauls.
No way. Yeah, but today the episode is really exciting. It's called The Youth. And as you can see from the 3 young people sitting on the sofa, they're all pretty young.
Right.
They're all under the age of 20, I think.
Well, when they joined Toastmasters.
Okay. When they joined our clubs, they were under the age of 20, I think, all of them.
Right. So let's get into who we have today.
Exactly.
And it's my honor first to invite a former president of Born to Shine, Tina.
Yes.
Tina, it's wonderful to see you. I feel like it's been forever.
Yes.
Yes, my pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have you. Yeah.
And Tina joined in 2016, and you're apparently preparing for a big exam in September.
Yes.
So I hope you're surviving okay.
Yes. And after the exam, I would definitely come back.
Good. I like that
Well, we
spirit.
love to hear that. Yeah.
We miss you. And then, of course, something I love when I was asking Tina about, like, what's been on your mind recently? You're talking about, I love praying for people. And just, if anybody out there, if you have a prayer request, leave a comment for Tina. She'll see it. And she'll pray for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Who else do we have, Paul?
Well, our second guest is somebody whose twin sister, well, you might have thought you saw on the show before, but that was her twin sister, Alice. Her name is Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Yeah, so Emily comes to us from, and we'll get into more on this later, but from Taipei University Toastmasters Club.
Right.
And she used to be a regular guest at our clubs, but she joined our clubs in 2017, and she's been a regular attendee ever since. Now, Emily, do you really want me to tell them what you do? Because people might hunt you.
Oh.
Well, I will try my best to make them like me.
Okay.
I like that spirit.
Emily's introduction was, she works for the tax department, and people might not like her, but we all love her.
Yay.
Yeah.
So happy to be here.
Yes. And who's our final guest, Joe?
Now, our final guest is very special because when we were first starting this show, this episode wasn't even on our list.
No, it wasn't on the list.
And Paul Sharp turned to me one Friday night. He said, Joe, Albert is leaving us. This young man, he is going back to the States, and we need to make an episode just for Albert.
Yeah. And then we got Emily and Tina too, so it's like fantastic bonus.
That's right. Albert just brought everybody with him.
Because he's very popular.
Right? And so Albert, he's been a member of TGIF off and on since 2017. He's a computer science kind of whiz kid over here. Amazing. Looking for a full-time position. If you're watching this or listening to this and you're looking to hire somebody who's amazing, talented, and handsome, look no further than Albert. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, although Albert, we don't have that many followers yet, so
That's good. You're going to grow a lot.
Don't bank your future on this show, okay? Okay. Still apply for jobs.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just want to get into it a little bit. How do you guys know about Toastmasters? How did you get involved in Toastmasters? And also maybe just how did you get involved in our club as well? Maybe we can start with Emily.
I first know Toastmaster. That was the summer break when I was going to the college. And at that time, during that summer break, I was a bit boring. So I was searching, so what can I do?
Yeah.
And then I find out there's a Toastmaster summer camp held by NTU Toastmasters.
Oh.
Okay.
And Alice, my twin sister, and I, we both signed up for it. That's how we know Toastmasters.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. And then you decided to join the club at your university, which was National Taipei University
Yeah.
in Sanxia. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then Tina, I know that you joined as a college student, but I don't know, did you actually join a college club? How did you hear about Toastmasters?
Actually, my church small group member invited me.
Oh.
And who's that?
Esther.
Esther. Oh,
Yeah.
Esther. Esther invited you.
Esther.
Oh, I thought it was Lester.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, Esther. Okay.
This
Esther.
is so hard with names.
I know, Esther. Yeah.
Yeah, she said she was going to deliver a speech, and
Okay.
she said Born to Shine is one of the best club in Taipei City.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So I remember at that meeting, I found, wow, this place was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I say, I want to join.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you at the charter ceremony, but you were not a charter member, right? You came to the charter ceremony. Did you come to the meetings before that, or was the charter ceremony your first meeting? You don't remember?
I can hardly remember.
You can hardly remember.
It feels like long history at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. But I remember you at the charter meeting. You know how I know? I've got lots of photographs.
Paul, for those of you who don't know, Paul is like the master photographer and
Listen. Yeah.
You just
If
do
you
everything.
if you go to our YouTube channel and you go to this podcast and you look underneath, you'll see in the description you'll see pictures of different people. I post links to their special albums for each person.
Paul, your pictures are a blessing like none other.
Yes.
And then Albert, how did you hear about Toastmasters?
All right. So, funny story. Before I learned Toastmasters existed, I was doing speech competitions in middle school and high school.
Okay.
And during one of my preparations, I searched on YouTube how to give a speech. And naturally, a Toastmasters video came up.
Right.
And that's where I learned Toastmaster existed.
Okay.
And then in high school, one time during class, my English teacher mentioned that there would be a youth leadership program hosted at our school over the summer or one of the breaks. And I decided that it would be a good opportunity to see what Toastmasters was all about
Yeah.
and really try to advance my own speaking skills. And in that program, I met Mike Young. For those who don't know him, he is a very prominent member of District 67 and a past district governor.
Correct.
And I was lucky enough to stay in contact with him.
Good.
And then during my gap year after high school, and I was deciding what I should do with the year, I contacted Mike Young and asked him if he had any Toastmaster club recommendations for me because I wanted to join an actual club now that I was 18 years old and eligible.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a list, and TGIF and BtS was on the top of it. And the rest is history.
Well, I mean, I like the way you say "lucky for you." I would turn that around. You said "lucky for you." You met Mike Young. You kept in touch with him. I would say "lucky for us."
Yeah, we were so blessed by your
We've
presence.
been so blessed by you joining our club. So I'd say "lucky for us," right, Joe?
Absolutely. Not in
Yes.
terms of just speeches, but also if you go and look at Paul's pictures, whenever Albert was a member in there, our boards,
All the beautiful pictures.
the
on the board there.
artwork,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. We've just gotten to know how Tina and Albert found TGIF, and we just learned how Emily found Toastmasters. But Emily, how did you find TGIF and BtS?
Because of Paul.
Ah.
Yeah, but there's a funny story there too, right?
Yeah, because that time Paul was invited to my university to join a Toastmaster meeting as a GE.
Yes.
But Paul cannot get lost in the middle of Sanxia and don't know how to go to my school.
So for those of you who don't know Taipei at all, like there's Taipei, there's New Taipei City, and it's Taipei University, not New Taipei University.
Yes.
And Sanxia is in New Taipei City, not Taipei City. And when I first went there, when they first invited me, I thought I was going somewhere in Taipei.
Right, because it's Taipei University. One would expect.
I figured out it said Sanxia, but the bus I took there, they'd already finished their service, so I didn't know how to come back. So Emily brought me back. Yes.
I wanted to pause because we've been talking about
Sure.
sort of colleges and
Sure.
youth. And Tina, you joined as a college student, right?
Yes.
So what college did you go to again?
National Zhengzhi University.
Right.
Yeah.
That's over by the zoo, I think, right? So it's like Panda School. No, I'm sorry. That's just But what I want to ask is, if I remember correctly, there is a Toastmasters at that
Yes.
university. So why did you pick Born to Shine instead of going to a university club?
I visited the club like one time, only one time. And compared with like Born to Shine, the club was obviously boring. Sorry.
We're sorry.
No offense.
Don't come at us.
Sorry, Jenda. Very hard.
The university clubs do try
they're
hard, but
hard
I guess
club.
they're kind of different, right?
Yeah, they are different. Yeah,
But I've never been a part of one. But I think we have like a whole panel today.
out of the panel. Yeah,
Out of the panel, I think, Emily, you're the only one who has an experience of both. Can you speak to the difference between them?
Yeah, I'll say in the campus Toastmaster club, in every meeting we have a session called variety session.
yeah.
And that's a session that we try to play some English games
Okay.
for people to change their mind into English mode.
Sure.
And also warm up the atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah. For the, Emily was also a president of National Taipei University Toastmasters
What?
Club. Yeah. And the year she joined, so typically the university clubs in Taipei, they have very few meetings in the year. They break for summer, they break for winter, they're long breaks.
And midterm breaks.
And
all
they
of
meet
that.
when they do meet, they meet every week. However, Emily started the club, as I recall, with 7 members. And when you finished, there were 16 members in your club, as I recall, yeah.
And thanks to a lot of people's help.
Oh,
But I mean, you're a tremendous president, yeah.
man, that's just amazing.
Yeah, sure.
Now, something that I want to kind of focus even more on, and Paul and I have been kind of thinking
Sure.
about this, like for young people, what's the benefit of being in a club like Toastmaster, like TGIF and Born to Shine? So as college students, or, Albert, you were a soon-to-be college student. What were the advantages? What were the benefits that you felt you could get from that? And I'm kind of looking at Albert first. I'm going to dive across the couch.
Oh, please, just sit down.
So actually, I would like to speak about my experience at my own university club,
Sure.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
the University of Southern California
Okay.
in
Oh,
California.
yes, I forgot. You were the
Oh.
president there, yes.
I totally
I was a
forgot
president
about
of a
I'm sorry.
Toastmasters club too.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, I had already experienced a year of Toastmasters at
Okay.
TGIF
Sure.
and Born to Shine. So thanks to your guidance, I had pretty much known everything to know about Toastmasters in my
Whoa.
mind. Or, okay, not everything, but I knew how to run a meeting
Sure.
at the very least. And so I kind of brought that experience into my campus club. And at the time, when I joined as a freshman, we actually had quite a good number of weekly participants. And during the peak of our club, we had such high demand. And because everyone's course schedules are different,
Sure.
we ended up doing 2 meetings a week,
What?
which was quite heavy
nuts.
on the officers
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
had to attend every one of them.
Yeah.
And throughout those meetings, I saw a lot of growth from students. I saw someone who started with a stutter, and that is always difficult. And I saw his growth, which was very inspiring. I've seen people who start off shy and then gradually become accustomed to the stage and come out of their shell.
Great.
And personally, when I was a new member of Toastmasters back in TGIF Born to Shine, I think just having the experience of going on stage really brought a lot of confidence or instilled a lot of confidence. And just the experience was very valuable for me.
Nice. So just taking all of that and packing it in your suitcase and going to California.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
think of like a specific feature of TGIF from Born to Shine that you tried to bring with you? I'm just kind of curious. Like what stuck with you? Was it Paul? Because I channel Paul sometimes when I'm leading meetings.
Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
Right. I think the thing that really sets TGIF and Born to Shine apart, aside from everything that does, like the opening songs, the
Sure,
prayers.
sure.
These are all lovely things.
Sure.
But I think the one thing that puts it at the top of Taiwan in my mind is the quality of
Sure.
the meetings and the consistency of the quality
Mm-hmm.
of every meeting, not just special meetings,
Sure.
but the regular meetings you go to every week.
Sure.
And I wanted to bring that kind of consistency to my club. So whether I was just a role taker or the Toastmaster of the evening or the president, I wanted to make sure that the meeting ran smoothly and it was overall a good experience for everyone who came.
Sure.
Nice.
Emily, we just heard a little bit about Albert talking about the growth he witnessed in his club. How about yourself? Like when you were the president, when you were involved in NTPU, did you see any stories like that? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, that time I belonged to the campus club, but I was a regular guest in both Born to Shine
Yes, you
and
were, yeah.
TGIF.
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
And then because these two clubs, they have such a good, high quality meeting, and I can learn so much and bring it back to my campus club to improve it. For example, a mentor-mentee system.
Sure.
I feel like to have a protege to help you, to encourage you, this is so important and so powerful. So that's why we also have a mentor-mentee system.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Tina, same. We're just making our way down the couch back the other direction. But same thing for you. Like
Yeah.
as a college student, what were some benefits you found by being a part of Born to
Sure.
Shine?
Yes, because in Born to Shine, I can meet people from different social backgrounds and listen to their stories. So I think compared with my classmates, I know deeply, not very deeply, but know more about life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
About
all these
life.
different life stories.
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yes.
Were they good stories or bad stories?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
why life is like
Yeah, exactly.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, when we tell stories in our clubs, you take the best parts of life and the worst parts of life, and that's kind of what you end up sharing.
Yeah,
to
but,
get
but the middle part of life is too boring.
the middle part's like, I woke up today. Okay, good.
Brushed my teeth today, Joe.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah.
So just hearing that you've had those kinds of experiences, being part of the club, and having that greater experience, like, when did you start to feel that? Like, oh, was it a month in, 2 months in? When did you start to really notice, like, I'm worldly wise now?
In fact, I have reward every time. Like every week, not every week, like every meeting we have like different speakers, and I just found that I always can learn something from them. Yeah, even during like table topic, it is just impromptu speech. I can still observe the people's their reactions and their attitude. I think maybe like that's why I became a journalist.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also just want to extend this question a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like we've spoken about the benefits of our club, but just Toastmasters in general. Like, I'm a teacher occasionally in Taiwan sometimes. And the one thing I always find is that students are generally very, very shy. Do you find like Toastmasters gave you more courage to be able to speak up in classes in your college? Did you have more courage to, like, if the teacher asks for feedback, be the first one to raise your hand and say, yeah, I can answer that, when the whole class is like sitting there?
That is like
Yeah.
very typical Taiwanese.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
exactly. But I mean, did you find it to give you more courage or not really?
I think it definitely gave me a lot of courage, especially in the bilingual club. When I first joined, I don't have confidence in my English ability, but when I see the foreigners, they try their best to,
Right.
to learn Chinese, and I feel like, oh, maybe just like them, we're just trying to learn one language.
Amen. That's it. Yeah,
So just don't be shy.
I actually, Emily mentioned something interesting
Sure.
about like a difficulty, right?
Sure.
And this is something that I don't understand how it didn't make it on our list.
What?
Difficulties. Like, was
Yeah.
there any kind of difficulty, like something that really challenged you when you first joined the club? This is such a typical Joe Paul question. I don't know.
I
how-
know why we included. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
What's
here
your
it is now.
What's your difficulty with that question?
But yeah, I'm kind
Yeah.
of curious, like,
What were your difficulties when joining the club, and specifically our club, when you first joined our club, like transitioning out of the college club into our club, or Albert jumping out of the youth leadership program. Yeah, this is how we can go from Tina down, right?
Yeah, now we can just work our way back the other direction.
So Tina, like when you joined that club, what were the difficulties in the beginning?
In the beginning, I was an introvert, but after like many conversations with Paul, Queenie, Joe, Eric, I like became more and more like energetic.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love to interact with people. So that's why I became a vice president of education later.
Oh, that's right.
And then the president.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were Jenny's VP, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
so she was
okay.
Jenny's VP. Yeah. So you know what I said when we had Jenny on is that like I feel Jenny like solidified the club,
Yeah.
and then Tina took it further than that. You know, so like without Jenny and Tina, Born to Shine would be in real trouble.
Right? You can't build Born to Shine on just one person or any club, really.
So Jenny and Tina are very instrumental in at the early stages of Born to Shine and actually securing it and getting it strong again. Yeah.
But beautiful. I see like the transition from introvert to like maybe extrovert or like extra curious. I don't know.
Curious. Yeah.
Let's make our way down the couch. How
Yeah.
about Emily?
Yeah, exactly. Emily.
Yeah, when I first joined Toastmaster, there's a thing that I really don't get used to is during the intermission, like I just don't know how to talk to other people. I feel this thing is scary. I still remember when we were in Lester's office to hold our TGIF meeting. During the intermission, I just want to hide in the washroom. and hopefully I can just hide there till the end of the table topic session.
No, the call me session.
Yeah, the please call me session. Yeah.
But after so many meetings and a lot of practice, I just like to talk and share with other people.
Now you're a real social butterfly.
Yeah, you're so popular. I can barely get to you by the intermission.
Exactly. Like you're surrounded by everybody.
Right?
Yeah.
Albert, how about you? By the way, how old were you when you showed up at TGIF?
18, right?
18.
Wow,
Yeah.
just right at turning 18.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's almost 19, but 18. Yeah. The question or the difficulty I faced when I first joined Toastmasters was actually relating to my age, or rather inexperience.
Okay.
Because for me, as a speaker, my primary goal is to provide value. I never want to go on stage and speak for 5 to 7 minutes just for the audience to be like, he wasted our time. So I always want to bring some kind of value to the audience through my speeches. And the issue I had was when I was 18, 19, I felt like I was really inexperienced in general in life compared to all the experienced members at TGIF, Born to Shine. So I didn't really know what I could talk about because I didn't want to preach something where people were like, why is this teenager telling us this?
Right.
So the issue I had was, what could I possibly talk about that could give value to these people who have so much more experience than I do? And I think that was the main struggle I had in the beginning. But gradually, I realized that there are always these key insights that might come across as really common or cliche, but when spoken in the right way, it can speak to people.
And I think it was your last speech about get one more, right?
Yes.
So you get one more, and I love Lester's evaluation of your speech, where he turned around in the speech, in his evaluation of your speech, and said, you know, you always seem to find the profound in the simple. You know, and I think that's very, very insightful from Lester as well, and that's true of you. You know, one of Albert's most famous speeches is bottoms up, right?
Yeah, from the bottom up,
From the
right?
bottom up, yeah.
About buttoning your shirt and a life lesson from it.
And yeah, I mean, it's the profound from the simple. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when I listened to your final speech, because you're of course leaving leaving Taiwan to go to the United States, which is a total shame. I mean, I'm glad you're doing this for your career and life, but I think that speech was so good. It's definitely going to make it into the Spotify show notes, and I'm hoping
we'll put it on the
YouTube because it was really
good speech,
really a good speech.
Oh, thank you.
So we're going to take just a quick break. And we have more questions, so don't go away. We're trying
Don't
to
go
add
away.
cameras, and so now
Yeah.
I'm looking all over. I'm talking to the microphone.
Oh, let's look at that camera. I don't know where we're
I don't
looking
even
at.
know where I'm
Yeah,
looking.
We got 3 cameras up here, yeah.
But we're going to come back, so
Yeah.
don't go anywhere.
And we'll be back in a few
Yeah,
minutes. Bye.
Bye.
So Born and Shine and TGIF Christian Toastmasters meet near Shini on her MRT station. There's a meeting every Friday. You can go and discover which club is actually meeting on the Friday you attend. We meet at a venue called SW6. All are welcome. Meetings usually start at 7:15 and run for an hour and 2 hours and 30 minutes. But everybody's welcome to attend. If you just look at the bottom of our description here, you will be able to find details of where you can find us, directions, and also the times of the meetings. We look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to today's episode of The Story, TGIF and
Born to Shine,
Christian Toastmasters.
Yep.
And we have 3 wonderful young people that we've been interviewing, getting to know, and we're going to continue to learn what they've picked up from the clubs, what they've learned, and maybe even what we've learned along the way.
Well, exactly. I've got lots to share about that.
All right. Well, Paul, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, well, we've just been talking about the benefits of Toastmasters in your college careers. What we do want to ask you further is, all of you graduated. How has Toastmasters benefited you outside of college once you graduated from college? Because you joined us in college, you've left college, you've graduated, all doing well for yourself, you're all in some careers. Albert, you have had a job in Taiwan before and you are moving into another career in the States. So just share with us, like, how's Toastmasters benefited you in your careers so far?
So what Toastmasters really does is teach you the art of communicating. And we as humans communicate all the time. But in a professional settings, one of the most classic examples is an interview. And sometimes when I'm not really well prepared going into an interview, I always know that whatever happens, I have my table topics practice that can carry me through the worst. Because I don't know what your biggest fear as a speaker is, Paul or Joe, but for me, it's definitely blanking on stage. And I think that is a fear for a lot of people, just to go on stage and suddenly just be blindsided by the lights. And it can happen in interviews when you really don't know what to say. But what Toastmasters does is it trains you through those moments, because sometimes you just get a table topics question that make you go, huh? What did I just hear?
Right.
And you just learn to go through that. And so the way Toastmasters trains you through those moments really helps you when you face them in real life.
Yeah, I love the way you say that, because I was actually talking to Jones, our second VPE, and also child member, I think. I was speaking to Jones on Friday night, and he just said he loves Toastmasters. I said, why? He said, because when he goes for interviews, he's so well prepared because of table topics. Exactly the answer you've just given.
Right.
Yeah, that was Jones was on because he just got a new job, and he says, thank Toastmasters, because when I go to those interviews, I'm so well prepared. Yeah. How about you, Emily? How has Toastmasters benefited you in your career in the Internal Revenue Service Department?
I think in Toastmaster, one skill I learned that's really beneficial is active listening. Because we deal with some people, and maybe when they learn that they need to pay this amount of money, they are really angry or just not happy. And they would just come to you and impatient and angry. So you just ask them to sit down and then just listen to them, to use the skill of active listening, to let them talk and just nod your head and say, I understand.
So for any of you unhappy people with Emily, and if you're angry with Emily, I want to just stress that she came up from Taidong to do this interview today. She doesn't live in Taipei. So if you're looking for her, go to Taidong. You can find her in Taidong, yeah?
Hey.
Imaginary Taidong.
Imaginary.
Yeah. And Tina, as a journalist, how has Toastmasters benefited you? Because you left college and you went straight to journalism, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in Born to Shine, most members are older than me.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I interview my interviewee, most of them are,
Older than you?
yes. So I already have experience So when I interview them, I don't have any difficulty.
Why are you pointing at us, Paul?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if you can interact with me, Tina, you can interact with anybody.
Yeah. And I also want to share another benefit.
Yeah, sure.
Like Albert just said, like I once joined an English interview, and he asked me that, can you tell us like a piece of news that impressed you recently?
Oh, okay.
And I remember that in table topic session, you don't need to give a very professional answer. You just give an answer that can impress your audience.
Sure.
And they can resonate with you.
Right.
Sure.
So I tell him that I remember there is a news that go viral in Korea, but the news happened in Taiwan.
Oh. So the facts were not quite right.
Yeah, and the man interviewed me. He said, "Oh yeah, I know the news."
Wow. So it helped you.
Yeah.
And did you get the job?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And that-
The skill
That's
is
what I-
good, but if you don't get the job, maybe the
Exactly.
skill's not as
Yeah,
helpful.
No. But I mean, I find that I find that interesting that the biggest benefit is actually in the interview process. And then Emily, what you're saying about active listening, and I think those are skills that apply to everybody, right? Like we all have meetings and we all have to like listen to people speaking sometimes, hopefully.
I mean, hopefully you and I are practicing active listening right this second with the podcast.
Hopefully, yes, yeah. But also the idea of just being able to communicate on the spot in a very difficult circumstance, yeah.
Actually, what's funny is Tina's answer sort of leads right into the next question
Sure.
I had, because you're talking about, well, I have to, as a journalist, I previously need to talk to people that are older than me.
Yes.
And something that really stood out to Paul and I as we were drafting our questions for you all, really making some hard
Yeah.
ones, was, oh, you all came in very young.
Sure.
And now you're interacting on a Friday night. You're not going to a movie theater. You're not going dancing. You're hanging out with people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
So generous. I'm in my 30s.
I mean, I'm in my 30s, so I'm writing myself right in that category.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Joe.
And so I just wonder, were there any kind of difficulties interacting? Could you feel a generation gap? Or what was that experience like for you, spending your time not with people your age, but people that were maybe double or possibly triple your
And
age?
I think that echoes to Albert's earlier comment about trying to find something of value in his speeches, right?
Yeah, that exactly. So since you called out Albert, we're making our way down that side of the couch there.
Right. I want to preface by saying that TGIF and Born to Shine are one of the youngest clubs in spirit in Taiwan.
I like that you preface in spirit, because I look at
Yes.
Paul and I see a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
This man,
exactly,
so
yeah.
much energy.
Yes, but like we have also members like Lester, who
Yes.
was here first episode, I believe.
Yes.
And they just have so much life experience and speaking experience with them. And as a member of the club, you can just learn so much from them just by talking to them
Right.
and chatting with them.
And Lester's still only 22, I think.
Man, the fact that someone his age can bike way
Yeah.
faster than me is just,
I mean,
oh, wow.
he's 22 going on 60-something.
He's built like a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I just complete segue here. I was once riding my bike to the top of a mountain close to my house with another member was on our podcast, Douglas Gilman. And we get to the top of the mountain, and I look down and I see these two guys racing up the mountain. And I said to Doug, I said, that looks like Lester. And then sure enough, there's Lester racing a college student up the mountain.
Oh, my goodness.
And winning. And at that stage, I think Lester was 64. Yeah, the guy's just like a monster. on
That's
bus.
impressive.
Yeah.
Emily, what about for you?
I think in our clubs, a lot of people are young at heart, no matter their age, really.
So no generation gap.
No.
No.
And because they are even older, they have more experience in life, so that they can share more stories or wisdom with us. For example, I remember there's a workshop Eric and Douglas gave the workshop
yes.
about career workshop.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And for us, we can all benefit a lot from it. He mentioned about first we can choose a region that we are interested in and try to learn more about it, or either to have a degree, or you can do self-learn, self-teach. And eventually, when you get more and more knowledge in that region, you can maybe make some money, and that becomes the career.
Ah, nice advice. Where was I for that workshop? I need that workshop.
You were in Japan.
I was in Japan. Oh, no.
And I think I still got the videos of that, but I'm still waiting for PowerPoint presentations.
All right, Eric, Douglas, we're calling you out.
Don't call him out. I don't know if I can find the video. I'll try. Yeah.
Tina, how about you?
Like Emily and Albert just said, I think I'm the one who is older because like Paul, Joe, and like Eric, like you guys always have like ideas, very cool ideas, and like keep popping up, and sometimes I think maybe I'm older than you. Yeah.
Older spirit.
Yeah, because all of you are so creative. Yeah, and energetic.
I think for me, the generation gap, Joe, if you don't mind me also jumping in.
Yeah, jump right in.
I think for us, the generation gap is, I think if you get older, you know, and I am like 14 going on 50 something.
Yes.
But I think as we get older, if we only spend time with old people, we become old.
I absolutely agree.
You know, and you know, generally like people my age, they'd be sitting at a bar and then looking cool with people their age. But I think there's real benefit to us as well as older people spending time with young people like you, because it kind of also, it's the elixir of life. You know, it keeps us young and youthful.
Youth.
It keeps us young and youthful, and it keeps our ideas young and youthful. And then, you know, we get to still be a little bit with the current culture. You know, we call it the zeitgeist. We still get to have a little bit of that in our minds. You know, oh, this is the fashion, or this is the music people are listening to. And so, yeah, you know, we don't quite get it, but we actually know what's going on a little bit. So we don't get so I think there's that benefit to also keeping us younger as well, just sticking around with younger people. If you guys want to put up with us, that is.
Actually, what I love about what you're sharing is because I definitely feel it, you know, because you get into office life and then you sort of lose contact with what people younger than you are talking about. And so I'm sort of curious from your perspective, going the other way, what do you feel that you've maybe taught some of us older members during your time? And just take a moment. Now I feel like it's real table topics, because I know this also wasn't on the list. But Albert sort of got us started with talking about value.
Well, I can tell what Albert taught me. Because
wow.
before I met Albert, I used to button my shirt from the top down.
You know, it's funny you mentioned this, and I feel like I'm stalling as I see people's wheels turning. But literally, after hearing Albert's speech, I remember one day pausing and going, I really do always go from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
But so I'll start over with Albert. What are some things you feel that you've brought into the club or brought to the members as something kind of valuable?
This is a
tricky one.
This is a tough question, I think. Well, aside from helping you guys lower the average age.
Yes, that was a very big benefit. Thank you.
I think I personally enjoy hanging out with, I don't want to say older, but like, older.
We can take it.
Older
it's okay.
members, like Paul, Lester, Iris, you know. And I think speaking to you guys, like sometimes I don't know why you want to speak to me, because you probably know more than I do. But
no, we don't.
Not necessarily.
We just pretend to know more than you.
Yeah, but then like talking to you guys, I also get a lot of questions, such as, because I'm in the tech industry, I suppose.
Yeah.
You're a science student. I get a lot of questions about, you know, what's going on with AI. And I could talk about that for a while.
How do I turn on my computer?
How do I save this as a PDF?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm joking. Sorry.
Yeah. And so I think it's always interesting when people who are probably very much more knowledgeable in various other parts than you choose to go to you to ask questions of their own. And I think it's awesome that I can provide some value to people who I believe have much more to give. Yeah.
We in our club, we actually seldom say senior members. Like many clubs will use the word senior members. Many clubs want to put DTM on agendas. Many clubs will also want to become advanced clubs, with just older people. But I think right at the beginning, Lester, with TGIF and then myself with Born to Shine, our goal was to have an age range. That was our goal. Like, we don't want to be. I mean, of course, by senior members, we don't mean of age, we mean of presence in Toastmasters. So, like, actually in Toastmasters, all three of these people, these guests today, would be considered senior because they've been in the club for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really want to use those terms. We want to make sure that everybody's treated equally, and we want to have people who are 70 years old all the way down to 18, because we just feel that there's so much benefit for us as well.
Yeah. But I want to add on just a little more.
Sure.
Outside of my own experience, because I haven't had the pleasure of being an officer at TGIF Born to Shine, mainly because of my own, college
Sure.
scheduling. But I've witnessed so many young leaders, such as Jenny
Sure.
Liu, Jenny Zhang,
Sure.
Yeah.
who have brought a lot of energy
Absolutely.
and a lot of ideas to the club, such as recent outings where it's really just planned and executed by the younger members
Sure.
of the club. And I think having that energy to boost everyone's own energy has really helped the club as a whole.
It helps a lot, yeah.
Yeah, there's an interesting growth aspect too. Actually, I remember when I was president at the age of like 27. And so
How old are you now?
30, almost 35.
How do you get so old?
It happens day by day. But the weird thing was I was the
You're
president.
27 when you president?
I was 27 or 28.
Wow.
And I was
wasn't.
I was the youngest person there, like in terms of the leadership team.
Yeah.
So you have like the president and the VPs, like Jonathan Clausen. So he was like 50 something at the time. So you have this like 27-year-old be like, here's the plan. And, but it is interesting, that dynamic, and both sides, I think, kind of learn. And so I want to kind of keep moving my way back down the couch here. So Emily, I mean, you've given a lot of really interesting speeches. I kind of feel like I've learned from you, but what do you feel you've kind of given to the club?
I feel like because two clubs, they really build on love
Yes.
and has such a positive and supportive learning environment that every time when I just walk into the meeting room, I just have so much energy. I
Sure.
want to share people about the joy of learning together. Yeah, and so in my speech, I try to have more core value in the speech, and because of Lester, he kind of inspired me to do a speech about my dance class journey,
Sure.
to do dance.
Sure.
That's the thing I kind of don't dare to do before.
Sure. Sure. I know what I learned from Emily.
What's that?
Yeah, I very, very clear, very distinct. Emily once told me that, and I've used this example in workshops as well, and your name comes up. When she was applying to be an exchange student,
Right.
she was going for the interview, and she was a little bit nervous, but she had watched a very famous TED talk about power poses.
Ah, yes.
And so she told me before the interview, she went into the bathroom or somewhere, she looked in the mirror and it was like doing all the power poses to get the confidence. And then she came and gave a speech about power poses. And I had not ever heard about power poses. And now I use that story in workshops when I go teach young people public speaking. I always teach them. And there's this one girl I know who had a dream. Her dream was to be an exchange student. And she walked into the interview and then the power pose. And then they all look at me and say, what happened? She went to Canada. That's what you taught me, power poses, Emily.
This is funny. This is a callback all the way
Yeah.
to some of our early episodes talking about the Born to Shine pose and how that was so inspired
Yes.
by
Emily.
that speech.
Yes.
So you've left like a mark.
Because these power poses came out of that speech. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tina, value that you've given to the club.
Yeah, maybe my occupation hazard. I am a journalist, so I always borrow the latest news and information, and as my speech topic, and I have faithful audience in our club.
Sure.
Yes.
Like Iris and Queenie, and I still remember that one time I shared slash talent.
Oh, right.
Yeah, And after my speech, Queenie came to me and say, "Where did you find this topic?" And yeah, and she was very interested. And Iris, she really read the articles I wrote.
Sure.
And she always like send me messages that yes, you can like choose this article as your speech topic. Yeah, in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, Tina had a very interesting job, right? You were doing like travel writing almost for a Taiwanese publication. What was it? Publication name?
Panorama?
Yes.
Yeah, Panorama. And she was like going to different parts of Taiwan and interviewing people in different industries or hiking up to Roca Gorge and teaching us all about the dangerous destinations that we can visit in Taiwan. Yeah, but I've also learned a lot from Tina through the years. But what I've learned about Tina is just the consistency and the application of self, you know, because as you said, when you came to us, you were very shy.
Yes.
And I've just seen how you've applied yourself to growing in the club and how you stepped up as an amazing president, truly an amazing president, a blessing to all of us.
Right. And that's the thing. All of you have brought really interesting subjects, topics into our lives. It's really great. Now, we're kind of moving toward the closing.
Of course we are. We have to move to the closing. at some point.
Eventually, I'm so sorry. We wish we could keep you here,
Yeah.
but we only have the room for so long.
Yeah.
And so we do have a traditional closing question.
Yeah, we do have a closing question. The question is, you know, you've already been in Toastmasters for a long time, even though you're so young. How do you want to grow in the future in Toastmasters?
Or even just outside of Toastmasters.
Yeah, or outside of Toastmasters. Yeah, like how do you want to grow in Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters into the future, going into the future? And we ask this to all our guests, by the way. So we're just going to start with Albert again, or we'll start with Tina again?
I see Tina's wheels moving. Let's start with
All right,
Tina.
let's start with Tina. Yes. Yeah, you know, like I understand right now you're preparing for the government exams, but
Yes.
after that, when you come back to Toastmasters, what would be your vision or your goal for your re-entry into Toastmasters, and what do you want to do in the future in Toastmasters?
Like all of you, the senior members are all my role model. And I really want to be like you that can always give suggestions to people who want to grow. And not just about like speaking skills,
Sure.
but also like I mean life about life.
About life. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Emily?
In Toastmasters, these clubs, I received a lot of help from the giant, a lot of people. Yeah, and through every meeting, the speeches, I also learned a lot from it. So, I want to be more influential. I want to influence other people around me. I can do it by sharing my story with a good core value, or I can tell people about how good our club is. I mean, because it's built on love.
It
It
is,
is
yeah.
a very safe place for people to grow.
Wow.
And Albert?
In terms of personal growth, in the words of Mike Young, there's always room for improvement.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I think I'll be improving as a speaker for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Beautiful.
But my main answer is actually very similar to Tina and Emily's, in that I believe I'm of an experience and age right now that I think I can take on the mentorship role that I
Sure.
gained so much from
Sure.
as a mentee in my early days. And I really wish I would have the opportunity to really take maybe a younger member, or it doesn't even have to be younger than me, I guess.
That's right. We've learned that you
Yes,
could
exactly.
mentor up.
Yeah, like an inexperienced member who just wants help and provide the help that they need. And I had a small taste of it back in my campus club because I was the most experienced Toastmaster there.
Wow.
Regardless of age, I was just in Toastmasters for the longest time.
Right.
And I was often the evaluator
Wow.
for new members and their speeches. And I hope that they gained some stuff or like gained some value from my evaluations.
I totally believe they have, because
Yeah, sure,
I've
I
learned
think
from
so.
your evaluations, even your language evaluations. I am an English native speaker, but there are things that Albert
I
pointed
know.
out that I'm like, that's a good point. Thank you, Albert.
Yeah.
well,
Well, that's the end of the episode, right?
that's right. Oh,
Wow.
the time goes by so quickly, right?
Especially with 3 guests.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is great.
It's
But
magical. Thank you.
so wonderful. And honestly, I'm so glad we got Albert before you're leaving.
Yes.
I'm so glad we've gotten Emily
Yeah.
because we've had Alice, and it's like getting the other twin, the other side. It's so good.
Yes.
And we've been able to get Tina.
Who we haven't seen for a little while.
I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good
Yeah,
to see you.
yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today, friends.
Thank you. And yeah, we'll be posting this soon. So please share it with your friends.
Please share with your friends.
Wow.
Thanks for coming, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Paul, we are now at our takeaway session, stepping back, thinking about what are the big
Yeah.
things.
Well, that was a great episode.
I loved it.
Yeah.
First time with 3, and honestly, I wish we could have kept talking.
Yeah, me too.
It could have been an all-day episode.
I think so too. What was your big takeaway, Joe?
For me, it was listening to Albert and I think others about how they're taking what they learn in the club and applying it to different parts of life. And honestly, I loved hearing about Albert taking TGIF Born to Shine lessons and then taking it to California and really using that, and about the idea being quality, and not just quality here and there, but quality that's consistent. And that's something really powerful that I think all of us can kind of learn
And I
from.
think the good thing about that is Emily also spoke about that when she spoke about coming to the clubs on a regular basis and taking
Yes.
lessons there back to Taipei University Toastmasters Club.
Right. And so that idea of like, we're training people and sending them out.
Sure.
And I felt like, I could really see the value of TGIF and Born to Shine. All right, Paul, what's your takeaway?
Well, my main takeaway was I really love the last question we always ask, like, what is your vision for the future of your
Yeah.
life, your presence in Toastmasters? And when we spoke with Jenny and Alice earlier in the earlier episode, 2 other fairly young members of our club, even though
Right.
they've been around for a while, they were all about giving back. And what I just loved hearing the same answers coming back today. Like, you guys mentored us. We want to go out into the world and mentor other people, whether they're older than us or younger than us. We just want to mentor them. And I just think that's the spirit of our clubs. We just always coaching people and just saying, and then we don't even ask them. They just comes out naturally. Like,
Right,
because
yeah.
you gave to me, we want to pass that forward.
I love it. It's
I
kind of
just
like
love that idea, yeah.
it's like a passing of the baton.
Yeah, but I also enjoyed like just being able to share a little bit of what each person here taught me uniquely, especially like Emily's power poses.
Power poses, yes. Somehow the power poses are like a recurring
Yeah.
theme in our story.
I know. But,
Beautiful.
yeah, but that's my main takeaway is just the idea that there's this recognition that there is a sense of responsibility that you coached us. It's our turn to give back, to coach the less experienced members all around. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that coaching involves even coaching us who are older. I
Sure.
thought that was
Exactly,
beautiful.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
that's a good thing to remember. And there's one other thing that we can remember.
Yes, indeed. And what is that, Joe?
That's the slogan. And I want to
Exactly.
remind all of you that we are built on love.
And born to shine.
Cheers.
Cheers.